All right. So let's pray. It's time. Let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we want to thank you for yet another opportunity again. As we commence this class, we ask for understanding. Holy Spirit of God, you are the greatest teacher. Come and teach us today. Make this class a success, and at the end, we shall have the cause to glorify your name. Thank you, Holy Spirit, and God. For in Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. If that will take your time, if it's difficult, Johanna, you can leave it. Do you understand?
Okay.
So just let's be together. So when I ask you a question, you answer, and so that is it. All right, you bring out your notes, your writing material, and last week we actually consider decentralization. The other week we looked at centralization, and we saw the reasons for centralization. We also saw the reasons for decentralization. And the way we are in Nigeria operates a decentralized system of government. Nigeria operates a decentralized system of government. Sorry, the student I just admitted now. Put on your video and your sound. Shola Fumi, put on your video and your sound. All right. Today, by the end of this lesson, you are expected to be able to define, state, highlight the meaning of delegated legislation. The meaning of delegated legislation. You also expected to know, to be able to identify forms or types of delegated legislation. Forms and types of delegated legislation. So, and as we proceed, you also expected, hold on, please, let me admit these students. You also expected to be able to know how delegated legislation is being controlled, so and so forth. So, Deborah, can you tell me what you learned last week? What you learned last week? Last week we looked at decentralization. Can you just tell me one or two things that you're able to grasp, you're able to learn, what you learned last week? Yes.
I learned that decentralization is where authority of power is not only given to one single authority, but shared among regions.
Yes, shared among regions and states. Thank you very much. Yes, because of our time, please unmute yourself, please. And there's noise in the background. I know it's not your fault. Please, I want to avoid that noise. It's distracting me here. Yes. Okay. And today we are going to be looking at delegated legislation. You can see it displayed on the screen. Delegated legislation. Can you see it? Can you all see it? Johanna, can you see it?
No, sir.
All right. What of Shola? Can you see it? Shola, can you see it? Shola, can you see it? Put on your sound, Shola. Shola, for me. Put on your sound.
Sir?
I say you should put on your sound. Can you see the slides? Can you see the slide clearly? You are not responding. All right. So listen attentively. Hold on. Let me just make a little adjustment. Hold on. Let me make so that you can see clearly. There's it's blocking. The screen is okay. All right. I think you can see everything now. All right. Shola Fumi, can you hear me? Shola Fumi, put on your sound. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Delegated legislation. Now listen. Delegated legislation may be defined as laws, rules, and regulations made by other bodies or persons other than the legislature. The legislature delegates parts of its law-making functions to individuals. Sorry, there's noise. Please. All right, let's go on. The legislature delegates part of its law-making functions to individuals, groups of individuals, ministries, corporations, local governments, etc. Now, the complicated nature of government activities have made it difficult for the legislature to take care of all lawmaking responsibility in the country, which is its primary function. Now, I want you to understand something about this concept here. Now, delegated legislation is like you are transferring your function, your duty to another body. Now, we know that the primary function of the legislature is what? Law making. Now, I want you to know that the legislature actually cannot make law for every organization in Nigeria. You don't expect them to be making law where they are in the parliaments. Then they will not be making law for Faith Academy. We have our own laws and constitution. Faith Academy have mandates. We have our own laws and constitution. So you don't expect the legislature is going to be burdensome for them. You don't expect them to make laws for Faith Academy, go to Deeper Life High School, go and make law for them, then go to NNPC, go and make law for them, go to NITEL, go and make law for them, go to Power Holding Company, go and make law for them. It's going to be too much for them. But so what they do is that, now, this lawmaking, they allow organizations, they allow group of individuals, they allow ministries, corporations, local government to make law, So the legislature, in a way, they empower individuals, they empower corporations, they empower ministries, they empower local government to make law pertaining their members. So I just want you to just understand the meaning of delegated legislation, how it came about. You don't expect our parliament to make law for every organizations in Nigeria, all the companies and the rest. They can't be making law for them. It's going to be too much for them. And that is why they empower some bodies, they empower individuals, they empower groups of individuals, they empower ministries, they empower corporations, they empower local government to make laws on their behalf. So I want you to understand it. So now, the meaning is that delegated legislation may be defined as laws, rules, and regulations made by other bodies or persons other than the legislature. Now, the legislature delegates parts of its law-making function to individuals, groups of individuals. So please be taking the note. I've explained it to you. I'm trying to expatiate, buttress on the point so that you understand what delegated legislation is all about. Now, the legislature delegates parts of its lawmaking function to individuals, group of individuals, ministries, corporations, local governments, etc. The complicated nature of government activities have made it difficult for the legislature to take care of lawmaking responsibilities in the country, which is its primary function. That's the primary function of lawmaking. But they've transferred their functions to some persons, individuals, ministries, because they cannot be making law to all the organizations. In fact, we have we have over thousands of organizations in Nigeria. Is it in Kaduna? Is it in your state? Is it in my state? Is it in Borno State? In fact, they can't make law for all the organizations, but they delegate some persons. Is that taken? Are you with me? Haruna, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Haruna, I can't hear you. Are you with me, Haruna? Okay, you are not speaking now. Okay, that is good. That is good. Please, if you don't understand, you call my attention. Please take it. I hope you have taken the notes. Please take it. Yes. If you have finished copying it, let me see your hand up. Let me see your hand up, because it's good you take these notes. Thank you very much, Deborah. You are fast. So quickly take it. Yes, and the other boy, our professor in the making. Yes, I hope you've taken it too.
Yes, sir.
Glory Atabo, have you taken the notes?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good of you. Faith, have you taken the notes?
Yes, sir.
Good. Have you been able to copy it up to which is its primary function? So I will proceed to the next slide. Johanna, have you taken it too? Johanna,
Yes,
have
sir.
you copied it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is the continuation. Now, definition of delegated legislation continues. Due to this fact, some of the lawmaking responsibility have been transferred or delegated to some persons or bodies apart from the legislature. Apart from the legislature. I've explained it to you that the legislature cannot do everything, so they transfer their functions, the functions of lawmaking, which is its primary function, they transfer it to bodies, group of individuals, corporations, local governments, and the rest. All right, so we quickly copy it and let us move to the next slide. Let's move to the next slide. All right, I believe you've all taken it. Okay, Johanna, have you taken it too? I'm hearing noise. I'm hearing noise. All right, let's move to the next. All right, let us look at types or forms of delegated legislature. We want to look at the types, the forms of delegated legislature. All right, we have orders in council, ORDERS, orders in council. Because this screen here, something is blocking it. So that's why I'm trying to spell it to you. Orders in council. This is the power given to the head of states to make laws. This type of power is delegated to British monarch to make laws, which includes the power of proclamations. Now, it can be a king. So king, they make law to their subjects for the subjects to follow. Emperor, they make laws. Queen, they make laws. And that is now the law that a king make, a queen make, or an emperor is known as proclamations. Is known as proclamations. So they make laws. So this is one type of, this is one form of type of delegated legislature. Now I want you to know that the British monarch is an individual. It's an individual. It's an individual. So an individual is delegated the power to make law for its subjects, for its citizens. So that's what is known as orders in council. Orders in council. And I want you also to know that as a monarch, and he also have subordinates. As a king have what? Subordinates. And you know, by the time you get to SS2, you are going to be taught the difference. You are going to be seeing the different subordinates of a king. You know, the king is the highest person in a kingdom. Now, because even your local governments, your village, you have a king there. If you ask your parent, they will tell you, you have your king there. You have your king there, and he has followers. He has those people assisting him. He has his council. And those his council, like Yoruba now, we have Bashorun, Ijoye, you know, and we also have the 7 kingmakers and all these things. So there are many, because, and these people, they are traditional rulers. So a British monarch is a traditional ruler. So that's what I want you to know. Is a traditional ruler. Even the Queen of England, that is Elizabeth II, Queen Elizabeth II. You know, there was one time head of state of Nigeria between 1960 to 1963. Before Nigeria became a republic in 1963, and we had a monarch there. There was a monarch, the Queen Elizabeth II. She's not dead, she's still alive. So, but now she ceased to be Nigerian head of state. It was in 1963 when Nigeria became a republic. When we became a republic, that we were actually free from the rule of the British. You understand? We're actually free from the rule of the British monarch. So, order in council, this is the power that is given to the head of state to make law. So the legislature, in a way, they delegated, they transfer that lawmaking. That is, the king, the British monarch, should make law to its subjects. Number 2, bylaws. These are rules and regulations made by local government authorities, public corporations, and other similar bodies for smooth running of the government in the state. So you can see another delegation of power, another type of delegated legislature is known as what? Bylaws. I believe you've taken it to your notes, bylaw. I take it again. These are rules and regulations made by local government authorities, public corporations, and other similar bodies for smooth running of the government in the state. Let's look at another forms and type of delegated legislature. And now, rules of professional bodies. Rules of professional bodies. Now, example of professional bodies here, we have Nigeria Bar Association. Yes. Then what does this NMA stands for? Can anybody tell me? We have Nigerian Bar Association. Now, these are professional bodies. We have NUJ. It's another example of professional bodies. Are you understanding me? NUJ is another example of professional bodies. Then NMA. Who knows the meaning of NMA? It's an abbreviation. What's the full meaning? Yes? Can anybody tell me? Yes, if you know it, please just wave. You want to tell me the full meaning of NMA? It's an abbreviation. You know it. Perhaps your dad is a member of this body. Yes, your dad is a member
Nigerian
of this body.
Magistrate Association.
Nigeria what?
Magistrate Association.
Okay, Nigerian Magistrate Association. Okay. Thank you. And there's a popular one. What I actually expected from you is what? Nigerian Medical Association. This NMA means Nigerian Medical Association. So, and so many of them, so many others, okay? Nigerian Medical Association. And any of you here whose father is a doctor, medical practitioners? Anybody here? Okay. All right, let's continue. Now, the professional bodies also have. We have Nigerian Union of Teachers. We have Nigerian Union of Teachers, right? All right. We have the Nigerian Union of Teachers. It's also an example of delegated legislature, and so many. So this is a professional body. Are you understanding me? So rules of professional bodies. Professional bodies are expected to make laws to regulate and guide the activities of their members, such as Nigerian Bar Association, Nigerian Medical Association, Nigerian Union of Teachers. We also have the journalists too. They also have a body. They have a commission. So let us look at other forms of delegated legislature. I believe you've taken this note. Have you all taken it up to rules of professional bodies? Good. And Shola Fumi, have you taken the notes?
Yes, sir.
Good. Haruna, have you taken the notes? Good. All right, let's continue. Johanna, your picture has disappeared again. Please put on your video, Johanna. All right, another form again. Forms or types of delegated legislature is, thank you. All right, Ifu Naya, can you hear me? Are you with me? Yes, Angel. Good. All right, I can see you nodding your head. All right, we also have another one. I believe you've taken the note. Statutory instruments. Statutory instruments. This is also known as ministerial order. They are issued by a minister or a commissioner under the authority conferred on him by the legislature. You know, I told you earlier on that the legislature, that they transfer their functions. They gave authority to certain bodies, and that is what is known as statutory instruments. That is, now they also gave power. They gave power to ministers or to commissioners. Are you understanding me? That they should make law pertaining their ministry. Pertaining their ministry. So it is known, that is, the power given to ministers is known as statutory instruments. It's known as statutory instrument by the legislature. This is also known as ministerial order. They are issued by a minister or commissioner under the authority conferred on him by the legislature. That is that. And we also have another form of delegated legislature. Warrants. Warrants is known as warrants. So please, you take it quickly. Warrants. Please, Angel, please don't be distracted. When next you are coming to my class, please dress properly, okay? I don't like this this singlet you are putting on. Please, it's not proper. So dress properly. Otherwise, I will say do packing from my class. I will disconnect you. All right, thank you. I believe you adhere to that instruction. Warrants. There are two types of warrants, namely search and bench warrants. Search warrants and bench warrants. And I believe that in our present contemporary democracy, you have seen police officer, you know, going after a suspect, going to arrest a suspect. I tell you, it has often happened in our society. And when a senior police officer does that, it is known as search warrant. It is known as search warrant. A search warrant can be issued to a senior police officer to search or arrest a suspected person. Now, when you say a suspected person being arrested in your environment, in your area, it means it's known as search warrant. It's known as search warrant. Let us look at a bench warrant. Now, a bench warrant is issued by high court judges demanding for a person to appear before a court to give evidence. If there's an allegation and somebody goes there to complain and the rest, and the person will be asked to appear in court, and there's going to be the judges, the high court judges is going to give a warrant. It's known as bench, a document, and now it's an order now given to a suspected person to come and give an evidence. So that is, so a bench warrant is issued by high court judges demanding for a person to appear before a court to give evidence. And such a person, when the person is coming, he will be allowed to get his or her own lawyer to come and defend him or her. It's allowed. The person have the right to get his lawyer, to get a lawyer. The way you are now, if somebody should level an allegation against you, I tell you, and you want to prove it, and all these things, so you can get your own lawyer. You agree with me that even your parents, some of them, they have their own personal, there's family lawyer, and just the way we have family doctors, and even I won't be surprised that some of you here that I'm teaching here, you may even have your own family lawyer. Anybody here, do you have your own lawyer? Anybody here? Any of my students, do you have your own personal? Okay, I can see Angel nodding her head that she has her own lawyer. Please don't come and arrest me one day. Maybe as I'm teaching you and I scold you, you just say to, and you just tell your lawyer that I'm wanted in the court, that we should meet in court. So please don't arrest your teacher, and let them not send me a bench warrant. So let us not go there. So a bench warrant is issued by high court judges demanding for a person to appear before a court to give evidence. So far, actually, these are forms of delegated legislature. These are forms of delegated legislature. We have statutory instruments. We have warrants. So let's continue. Now, I want you to know something here. Now, somebody is raising up her hand. All right. So yes, I'm listening. Shola for me. You are raising up your hand.
Yes, sir. I have two questions.
All right.
Sir, first of all, sir, I have a question. Sir, can you be a lawyer to yourself?
Can you be a lawyer to yourself?
Yes. Like when
no, you see, in the legal practitioner, you are expected to get your own lawyer. Are you understanding you to defend you? That is the rule. Are you understanding me? That is the rule. Even if you are even a lawyer myself, you are expected by the rule, by the practitioner rule, legal practitioner rule, you're expected to get your own lawyer. And I see, because if you want to be a lawyer to yourself, it's not convincing enough. It won't be convincing enough. So, and it's the rule of the legal practitioner. You are expected to get a lawyer to defend you. You are expected to get a lawyer to defend you, because if the other party bring his or her own lawyer, you also have to also bring your own lawyer to defend you. So it is a rule. Is that taking? It's easy that you can't be a lawyer to yourself, but it's just a rule in the legal practitioner. Yes. What's the other question? Are you clear?
Yes, sir, I'm very clear. Sir, secondly.
Yes.
Sir, like in all these movies, that they are like, if you don't have a lawyer, a lawyer will be addressed to you, one from the government. Sir, does it apply to Nigeria?
Okay, please take it again. Repeat your question, please. Take it again.
Sir, like, okay, I want to like arrest somebody or bring somebody for questioning. So there's one thing that they used to say. They'll be like, anything you say or do can be used against you in court of law, like that. They will not be like, if you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be given to you. So do Nigerians do that? Do they give us lawyers if we don't have lawyers?
No. They don't. I see in the legal practitioner, you are expected to get your own lawyer. So why would the government give you lawyer? No, they won't give you lawyer. They will not give you lawyer. it's not applicable here. You have to get your lawyer, because you know something. Because if they should give you lawyer, will the lawyer be able to defend you? Will he be able to defend you? So you have to get your own lawyer. It's not we don't practice that in Nigeria here, because you should be able to get your lawyer that will be able to defend you and make you to win your case. So if you are called to the court for questioning, the court cannot give you a lawyer now. Why would they give you a lawyer to come and defend you? No, you have to get your lawyer. I understand. You have to get your lawyer. You know, actually in the court, we know we have the judge and we have panel. We have panel there. They will listen to you. They will listen to you, and they will allow you to defend yourself, and you get your own lawyer to defend yourself. So that is it. Are you clear? Hello, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
I want you to know that actually that in the court, and you see, those lawyers there, those group of lawyers, they also make contribution. They can also make contribution, and when they make their contribution, then the judges can now pass the final verdict and whatever it is and all these things. So you are expected to bring your own lawyers and all these things. When you go there with your lawyer, you see panel there, and they are including the judges, the high chief judges, and they'll be listening to you and the rest, and they will pass their comment and the rest. So that is it. But the thing is that if you want to even use some of them there, you can use it. But they are not the one to tell you go and use so person. I understand, because we have a group of lawyers. So even in the court there, if you want to use some of them to be your lawyer, why not? It's allowed. You can use any of them to defend you. You understand? You say, okay, this is my own lawyer, and any of the staff there who do appear, and and they judge things, they can stand for you. They are allowed to stand for you if you don't have your own personal lawyer. You know, but they are not the one to give you. They are not the one to tell you go and use so person. So you can consult them and these things, and you can be assisted and all these things. So they are not the one to suggest that to you. Say come and use so person. So as an educated person, and you are expected to have your own lawyer, and that's why most of our educated parents they have their own personal lawyer who can win court cases and convince the judges when one is giving a bench warrant, when one is given an order to appear in court, so that to disqualify any allegation leveled against you as a suspect. Is that taking Shola for me?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I love that question. It's intelligent. It's an intelligent question. All right, let's continue. Okay, I think now I want you to know that in delegated legislature, and you see this group of persons, corporations, local governments, and group of individuals, that power is conferred on them, but they have to be checkmates. They have to be checkmate, otherwise there will be an abuse of power. There will be excesses. They will go on trial, because you don't commit things into somebody's hand, and you don't supervise it, and you don't monitor it. And if you do that, I tell you, you cannot make a headway. Most projects in Nigeria are not being supervised, and that is why we have so many abandoned projects not completed, because and that is why now, even if the legislature they transfer their functions to some group of bodies, corporations, individuals, so they have to, in a way, they have to control it and check it if the right thing is being done. If those laws that were being made on their behalf is not contrary to the Constitution of Nigeria, and they also want to ensure that it's within the jurisdiction of the person that power is conferred on. They want to ensure whether it's within their jurisdiction. So now, one of such control is parliamentary control. Now listen, delegated legislation is issued through the acts of parliament. Actually, there's an act the parliamentarian, that is the delegated legislation document. Now, that is to grant power and function to group of bodies, to group of individuals, to make laws pertaining their organizations. And that is why, and you agree with me that is why even our school here, we have our own law, we have our own constitution, that power is conferred on Oyedepo, is conferred on our own policymakers. Living Faith have policymakers. We have policymakers that made laws for us. And that is why we have the mandate. We have the mandate, we have the school constitution. And it is not the parliament that made it for us. Now, and those constitution is within the jurisdiction of the policymakers. I think the delegated legislation is issued through the Act of Parliament. It is therefore necessary for the Parliament to control such powers. So, in a way, they have to monitor it. Now, we also have another one again. So, that means the legislature, they control individuals, those bodies that they gave power to, those bodies that powers are actually conferred on. Another control is judicial or legal or court control. Judicial or legal or court control is the same thing, either judicial, either legal or court control. The court can declare any delegated legislation unconstitutional, null, and void. This occurs when bodies or individuals armed with such delegated power to make orders not backed by the law or outside their jurisdiction. I tell you, the courts, I want you to know that the lawyers, the court, is the last hope of man. You have heard it often and often before, that the last hope of the common man, that the last hope of you and I and the citizens. So they themselves, now, anybody, any organization, I tell you the truth, if even the way this Faith Academy is now, I tell you, if Faith Academy want to abuse your rights, because you as students, you have fundamental rights, you have rights, and if Faith Academy want to violate it, I tell you, sometimes schools are being charged to the court, and when the court and they ask what has happened, and the fact, if what Faith Academy have done have abusing your right, they say, look, this is outside the constitution, we don't have this in the constitution, this act by Faith Academy is unconstitutional, so they're going to render it null and void. So in case our policy makers, those people that made the law for Oyedepo, the mandate that we have that is governing Faith Academy, I tell you, anything that is contrary, that will abuse your right as citizens, that will abuse my right, that will abuse your right, the law, the court can call it unconstitutional. They say, look, they will render it null and void. And I tell you, and if you sue Faith Academy, you as student, you will win the case, I tell you. But you as student, you may not be able to do it. You get your own lawyer, and Faith Academy can be sued, or your parent can sue Faith Academy. Even teachers can sue Faith Academy and all these things. So that even your parents, where they are working, whether a corporation, whether they are working in a company and the rest, and when the company wants to abuse their rights and do what is unconstitutional, I tell you, because I want you to know something about power. They say power intoxicates, and absolute power intoxicates absolutely. So if anybody wants to abuse your right, the person can be taken to the court, and the court will ask, now, is it within the ambit of your law? If they say yes, and it's written in the company's organization, they say, look, this thing, it should be removed. That in fact, it should be deleted. That is unconstitutional. They are going to such act, they are going to call it null and void, and they say it's unconstitutional. So now the court, the judiciary, they also control delegated legislation. They control delegated legislation. It's another body that control delegated legislation. So let us look at another group of people that control delegated legislation. So we are going to see it in the next slide. Sorry, I went too far. Okay, we also have ministerial control. Ministerial control, you can see it there. That is the third one. I believe you've taken that those two first ones I've given you. So another control again. You can see control of delegated legislation continue. Ministerial control. Bylaws made by ministries. corporations, and departments under the jurisdiction of ministers are subject to control by such ministers. I want you to know we have the Minister of Petroleum, we have the Minister of Science and Technology. So it's an individual, it's a group of persons. So he or she can control he or her ministry. It can control it. That's what I want you to know. So if the ministries are going or travel, they are doing something not within their jurisdiction, it can call them to order. It can either approve it or disapprove their acts and practices. That's what I want you to know. So the minister have the power to control his or her ministry that is overseen. The minister have the power to control his or her ministry that he or she is overseen. So this is another control of delegated legislation. And don't forget, I told you something that the parliament, our legislature, they can control delegated power, the power that they confer on group of individuals, they confer on corporations, on schools, on organizations. You understand me? Even the courts too, they have the power to control any function, any power conferred on any organization. A minister also have the power to control. Then another body that have the power to control is press criticism. Press criticism. Now, the press, as the watchdog of the government, can expose any wrongdoing by those exercising the powers of delegated legislature. And before you know, Daily Times will take it, New Nigeria will take it, Punch will take it, and I tell you, these days will take it. Thursday, I think there's a newspaper called These Days, and we also have the one called I think, is anyone called Thursday? No, it's This Day rather. We have Daily Times, we have New Nigeria and the rest. But New Nigeria is not too common now. Honestly, it's not too common and the rest. So we have various newspapers and the rest. Before you know, press will take it. Before you know, they will publish it and all these things. They will make the government to know because they are the watchdog of the government. The press, they are the watchdog of the government. So any organization that is abusing the rights of its subjects, of its citizens, of its members, and the rest, I tell you, press will take it. Press will take it. You've heard of stories, you've heard of father sleeping with their daughter, their 10-year-old daughter, their 5-year-old daughter. You heard it on news, and which is barbaric and the rest. You see what happened? The press took it. It was not actually the government that even that published it. It was the press. It was the press that took it because it's barbaric in our society. You understand? So anything that happened, anything negative that happened in the society, the press, they are the watchdog of the government. They are the watchdog of the government. I tell you, they are the voice of the government. They are the speakers of the government. Before you know, they take it because Buhari is not everywhere. Buhari cannot be in Kaduna. Buhari cannot be in Sokoto. Buhari cannot be in your state. In fact, Buhari cannot be everywhere. Are you understanding me? So the press, I tell you, the journalists, they are there to assist the president to pass certain information. I tell you, they are there to assist the government to pass certain information. All right, we also have another one is financial control. Now, government auditors can be sent to those exercising power of delegated legislature to audit their accounts and to control their financial spendings. I tell you, we have auditors. Even Faith Academy have auditor. I think you know the auditor in Faith Academy. You know his name, Mr. Wisdom. So he's also there. He's also there to monitor our spending. If, for instance, now I want to raise a memo now, and I say, okay, I want us to change this chalkboard, this whiteboard now in your class. I say, okay, all right, it's outdated, it's old. Let us put a new one there. And the price in the market price, let's assume this board costs 5,000. And all of a sudden, and I'll just come and I'll raise a memo and I say we need a board and the board costs 50,000. Hey, how do you see that? So the auditor is there to cut it, to control the spending. Because why? I want to loot the school. So the money, the price that I tag to it is too exorbitant. So you understand? So that makes me a cheat. So the auditor is there to see it and to control our financial spending. So government have auditors. Every organization have auditor to monitor its expenses and its revenue. All the money spent and all the money generated. The auditor is there to what? To monitor it, to control it, to avoid financial misappropriation. So the auditor is that individual, is that body that control delegated legislature. We also have the press criticism, we have the ministerial control, we have the parliament themselves, and we also have the ministers as people that control delegated legislature. So I believe you are following me. So I want to ask you so that you'll be able to say one or two things. And let's see. All right. So that means, all right, let me give a recap. And we started with the meaning and definition of delegated legislation, that it is the power that is conferred on other bodies such as corporations, individuals, local governments. They make laws on behalf of the legislature. They make laws on behalf of the legislature. Because I tell you, government business, government runnings are complicated. I tell you, the legislature cannot handle it alone. So they empower certain bodies to make laws concerning as regard to their organizations, as regard to their corporations, as regard to their company, as regard to the schools that they are running. Because the legislature cannot be everywhere. They cannot be everywhere. So we also went further to look at forms of delegated legislature. I'm giving you a recap. We have order in council. That is where you have a British monarch here, and the British monarch, giving power, and even a head of state. And I want you to know that the British monarch, they make proclamation. So that is the order in council. And the king, the queen, the emperor, they all make proclamations. We also have another form against bylaws. Bylaws, that is the power, the local government authorities, the public corporations, and they make rules and regulations guiding the running of government in the state. We also have professional bodies, rules of professional bodies. We have professional bodies, you understand, that's another form again, rules of professional bodies. So we also have statutory instruments that is directed to a minister or a commissioner. That is another form of delegated legislature. And they also have warrants, that is a senior police officer and a judge too, and also that is a bench warrants. We have warrants as a form of delegated legislature. So that is that. Okay. We also look at control of delegated legislature. We have the parliamentary control, judicial control, and ministerial control, press criticism, and financial control. All right, let me evaluate you. Sorry, have you taken all the notes? If you have taken the notes, let me see, wave your hand. If you have all copied it. Deborah, have you copied the notes? Good. Angel, have you copied the notes? Angel, put on your sound. Angel. All right, I'm not hearing you. You only waved. Okay, I believe you are still with me. Then, Johanna, have you taken the note too? Are you still with us, Johanna? If you are with us, say yes. If you are with me, say yes. Johanna.
Yes.
Good. Thank you very much. Yes. All right. Let me evaluate you. What is delegated legislation? What is delegated legislation? So who can help us? Who can define it? Who can define delegated legislation? So if you want to define it, tell me your name, then you define it. Yes? What is delegated? Okay, anybody? What is delegated legislation?
Sir, delegated legislation can be defined as...
Please, who is defining it?
Sir, Deborah.
Deborah, okay, thank you very much. All right, go on. I'm listening. I'm with you.
It can be defined as laws or persons other than legislature.
Okay, take it again, please.
They are defined as rules, laws, and regulations.
The network is fluctuating. I'm not getting you properly. Okay. So
I said,
yes.
so I said there are laws, rules, and regulations made by other bodies.
Yes.
Other bodies other than legislature.
Thank you very much. You are right. So what are the forms of delegated legislation? So Shola Fumi, can you give me one? Types of delegated legislation. Yes. Give me one, please. Name forms of delegated legislation. Just name one. Shola Fumi. Pardon? Sorry.
Bylaws.
Okay, bylaws. Thank you. Then, Johanna, can you give me one?
Rules of professional bodies.
Yes, thank you. Rules of professional bodies. Thank you. Deborah. Sorry, not Deborah. Angel. Angel, give me one. Name one forms of delegated legislation. Okay. Faith, can you give me one? Pardon? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Smiling.
Okay, well, I think the network is. Do you have another question? The network is bad here. Yes. Do you have another question before we draw the curtain? Please, let me advise you. Let us be early. Deborah was early, and please let us always be early, and let us not miss our classes. You understand? Let us not miss our classes, and I tell you, you will not regret it. By the time you come back and you are writing your exam, and since you have this one, you are going to read ahead of your course mate. I tell you, others they've missed, they have missed, but already you have this note already. You have this note already. So that is it. So please keep it up, and as I'm during the weekend after the class, if you chat with your colleagues, tell them that our classes are still on, and so that they will also be part of it.
Some of them don't have phone.
Hello, what do you say?
Some of them don't have phone.
Okay, they don't have a phone.
Yes, that's why they don't phone.
So you are their speaker. You are the one speaking to them. So you have become their speaker. It's okay. Thank you very much. God will provide for them. Pray for them. Thank you. So let us pray. Let's pray. Let's close our eyes and pray, please. Father, I want to thank you for this class. We give you the glory. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for the success of this class. Let your name alone be glorified. We thank you, Lord, because all of us are going to have a blessed day. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Son of God. For in Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. Amen. So thank you very much. Amen. And see you next week. And hello, what do you say? All right, bye-bye. Bye for now.
For literature class.
Sir.
Yes.
You be not teaching us.
Who?
You.
Okay, am I the one teaching you?
Yes, if you go back to prison, I'll be teaching us.
No. I'm not the one.
Why? Sir, no. If you can see the ability.
Please, sir,
Sir,
please,
please teach us.
sir, please.